In the quiet town of Villisca, Iowa, life in 1912 moved slowly and peacefully among friendly neighbors. Families knew each other well, and children played safely in streets under warm summer evenings. The Moore family was respected in the community and lived happily inside their modest wooden home. Josiah Moore worked hard every day to provide comfort and stability for his loving family. His wife Sarah cared deeply for their 4 children and managed the household with patience and warmth. One warm June evening, the Moore family attended a lively church gathering with neighbors and friends. After the church event ended, 2 young girls were invited to stay overnight with the Moore children. Everyone returned home smiling, unaware that the peaceful night would soon become a terrifying tragedy. Inside the quiet wooden house, the family slowly prepared for sleep after a long evening. Lamps dimmed, voices faded, and the entire household finally drifted into peaceful nighttime silence. But sometime after midnight, an unknown figure quietly entered the Moore house without waking anyone inside. The mysterious intruder moved silently through the dark hallway, while everyone slept peacefully upstairs. Inside the house, the intruder discovered an axe, an ordinary household tool that soon became a weapon. What happened next shocked the entire town and would later become one of America's darkest mysteries. One by one, the sleeping victims were attacked while completely unaware of the terrible danger nearby. The quiet home remained silent while the horrifying crime unfolded behind closed doors during the night. By the time the killer finished the terrible act, 8 innocent people had lost their lives. After committing the murders, the intruder strangely began moving carefully around different rooms inside the house. Mirrors inside the house were strangely covered, using clothing and pieces of fabric found nearby. Curtains across several windows were tightly closed as if the killer feared being watched from outside. Even more disturbing, some victims were carefully covered with blankets after the brutal attack ended. It appeared the killer had spent time inside the house even after committing the terrible crime. Eventually, the mysterious intruder left the house quietly and disappeared into the dark night forever. The peaceful town slept silently while the killer escaped unnoticed through the quiet streets. Early the next morning, neighbors noticed something unusual about the Moore family home. The house remained strangely quiet, and no one appeared outside during the usual morning routine. Concerned neighbors eventually decided to check inside the home to make sure everything was all right. When they entered the house, they discovered a horrifying scene that shocked the entire town. The peaceful family home had become the location of a terrible and unexplained tragedy. Authorities were called immediately, and investigators soon arrived to examine the shocking crime scene. Police carefully searched every room hoping to find clues explaining what had happened that night. The axe used in the crime was discovered inside the house where the attack occurred. Detectives began questioning neighbors and searching the town for suspicious strangers or unusual activity. Many different suspects were considered during the early stages of the investigation. Some investigators believed the crime may have been motivated by jealousy or revenge. Others suspected the killer might have been a traveling criminal passing quietly through the town. Several individuals were questioned, but none could be proven responsible for the terrible crime. As days passed, the investigation slowly became more confusing and frustrating for detectives. Important clues were limited, and the killer had left behind very little clear evidence. The quiet town of Villisca lived in fear, wondering if the killer might still be nearby. Newspapers across America began reporting the shocking story of the Villisca Axe Murders. The strange details of the crime captured national attention and terrified many readers. Investigators continued searching for answers, but each new lead only created more questions. Months passed, and the investigation struggled to find a clear suspect. The mystery slowly became one of the most famous unsolved crimes in American history. Over time, historians and researchers continued examining the strange details of the case. One disturbing mystery involved the mirrors that had been carefully covered inside the house. Some investigators believed the killer may have followed strange rituals after committing the murders. Another theory suggested the killer stayed inside the house longer than expected. The blankets covering victims also raised disturbing questions about the killer's intentions. Some experts believe the blankets were placed there to hide the horrifying scene afterward. Others think the killer may have felt strange guilt after committing the brutal act. Despite many investigations, the identity of the killer was never confirmed. The quiet house in Villisca eventually became a chilling symbol of the tragedy. Visitors and investigators continued studying the case many decades after the crime occurred. Books and documentaries tried to uncover the truth hidden behind the mysterious murders. Yet every investigation ended with the same frustrating conclusion. The killer had vanished without leaving enough evidence to solve the case. The peaceful town eventually returned to normal life after many difficult years. But the memory of that terrible night never disappeared completely. Even today, the Villisca Axe Murders remain one of America's most chilling, unsolved mysteries. Historians still debate who might have committed the crime more than a century later. Several possible suspects have been suggested by investigators and researchers over time, but none of these theories have been proven with clear evidence. The dark mystery continues attracting the curiosity of true crime investigators. Each generation studies the case hoping to discover something previous investigators missed. The small house in Villisca still stands as a reminder of the tragedy. Many visitors believe the building still carries the haunting memory of that night. The crime remains one of the most disturbing mysteries in American history. 8 innocent people lost their lives during one quiet summer night. The killer escaped silently and was never officially identified by investigators. Some believe the truth may still be hidden somewhere in forgotten evidence. Others believe the mystery may never truly be solved. The story continues fascinating historians and true crime researchers around the world. Each clue leaves investigators with more questions than clear answers. The identity of the killer remains hidden somewhere within the shadows of history. The peaceful town of Villisca will always remember the tragic night of 1912. A night when fear suddenly replaced safety inside an ordinary family home. The tragedy became one of the darkest chapters in true crime history. Even after more than 100 years, the mystery remains unsolved. The chilling story reminds us that danger can sometimes appear in the quietest places. Ordinary homes can hide extraordinary mysteries waiting to be discovered. The Villisca Axe Murders remain a powerful example of an unsolved historical crime. The truth behind the tragedy still waits quietly somewhere in the past. Investigators continue studying the case, hoping new evidence might finally appear. Until then, the mystery remains one of history's darkest unanswered questions. The shadow of that terrible night continues haunting true crime history, a silent reminder of the tragedy that shocked a peaceful town forever. The story continues fascinating audiences who seek answers to unsolved mysteries. The truth may still exist somewhere beyond the pages of history, but until someone uncovers the real killer, the mystery will remain unsolved. The house in Villisca stands quietly while the dark history surrounding it survives. Generations continue wondering who committed the crime and why it happened. The answers remain hidden somewhere within the forgotten shadows of the past. The Villisca Axe Murders remain one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries. A tragic reminder of how quickly peace can disappear inside an ordinary home. Even today, investigators still study the strange clues left behind that night. But the killer vanished into darkness without leaving a clear identity behind. And the mystery continues haunting true crime history around the world. If you enjoy true crime mysteries like this, like the video and subscribe for more investigations.